I had a really great title. It was so good. I was so excited about it. And then I started thinking about how to log in to YouTube. And I had to go through like two steps that I feel like I do it every 3 weeks or so. It's too often. But I don't want to sign up for whatever the next thing they try to get me to sign up for is. So anyway, I get all through that and I forgot what it's called. From the hip though. That is what I'm good at. And I enjoy it enough. I mean, what this is a subscriber update. Hey everybody. You're here because you don't mind me so much, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride. I think way too much about what I say before I say it out of fear of being judged. And I'm so grateful for those of you who have been cheering me on to not wallow in the muck with those who have no hope, but to keep my head lifted up as I see the day approaching. It's fast times here at Rockford, Illinois. Fast times here in Little America. There's lots going on everywhere, and in fact, even a storm incoming here this evening, literally. So that connection may come and go, and this update may or may not be the marvelous and entertaining show I'd like it to be, but Lord willing, this will all be podcasted out at the Starfall 2029 Spotify channel, where indeed all of this, everything I'm about to say, is still gamified. Game on. Matthew 13 quest: sow the seed, leave the tares. Buy that field. That's why I'm going to Rockford Lutheran School. Buy that field. Tend your nets. I'm going there for that reason as well. Gonna have to leave some tares, no doubt about it, but gonna sow the seed. Very excited as a father of an incoming freshman football player and a homeschool parent to boot for that same kid, getting to see a potential hybrid model truly exist, something that puts the value of the parent's desire for the education, not just sort of like saying parents, rah, but actually empowering parents to have choices in their children's education, so that, say, I don't have to pay taxes and get no benefit from this, that, the other thing. Anyway, private schools can just be awesome about this. And so as the father of a freshman on the incoming football team with the ordained ministry certificate and being a member of the alliance that's of congregations that supports officially Rockford Lutheran Schools here since St. Paul Lutheran Church founded it way back when. I'm just so excited to get to say that those who trust in Jesus Christ are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. If I have my druthers, that'll be the spirit of our football team this year under Coach Lee. Look him up, Coach Don Lee. He's got a history of football. It's not a bad one at all. Rockford Lutheran School's one school under God. Christ. Excellence in Christ. Harmony for the sake of Christ. Service in the kingdom. So much good that can be done here. And so thank you, those of you who've prayed for me for years and said, what's Fisk's problem? And the answer was he needed a garden. But see, the garden needed to be a kindergarten. and the chance again to just be a shepherd of souls without anything to prove here. The school itself has so many needs. And having been on campus a few times this week, the joy, honestly, the joy of just saying, all you got to do here is be a Christian. It's going to make everyone's day, and it's going to be better than it was before. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Come on, everyone. We're here for Christ. So thank you, those of you who've been praying for that kind of like consolation or consolidation of mission, if you want to call it that. But in this, then, the beautiful overlap with the Hebron Collegium is not to be mistaken. Our full-time student this year who's already here, we have two gap year, 18-year young men planning to spend their year here preparing for college and the rest of life by a whole lot of scripture, whole lot of personal development, whole lot of brotherhood, whole lot of real life. Better than a certificate. First one, he's here doing very well, hoping to be pre-sem someday, so we got him on a fast track. I'm telling you, he's already working Greek and Hebrew. He did the confessions a bit on his own, so I don't have to encourage that one too much, but nonetheless, indeed, pushing him to really wrestle with the questions of pastoral ministry early on, and to understand the distinction between a book on the shelf and subscription to it and what everyone's actually doing when you show up and visit their church. And if there were Concordia somewhere to be found, may we not indeed say, thank you, God, and may there be more of it. And so, that that lesson well in hand, and him on the mat, the threshing floor, outside with the boys pummeling, he's really shown himself to be something. I don't think he'll be too embarrassed. He might be really proud if he hears me say that. I kind of was thinking he might be a bit of a marshmallow, a little bit of a squishmallow, if you know what those are. And it turned out, no, I was wrong. This young strap, man, he's ready to go. And what did they call him today? The bear sounds. He wasn't winning, but there were noises. And but he's getting strong, and it's really cool to see as he works. And so much of early jiu-jitsu is just learning that what you think you're going to do ain't going to work. And then finally you start to say, okay, what can I do? and you start to put the pieces together. We also had a local member, hasn't been around for a while, but did used to train at Core Combat under Tommy Woodruff here in Rockford, Illinois. I'll leave his name on docs for the moment, but he showed up today, which was just so great to have him work with our young man, an everyday Jack indeed. And another young man locally continuing to get his feet wet. The Rockford Lutheran Schools football coaching program isn't there to rehab people. It's there for people who want to catch those kids before they need rehab. And so, again, young men in the area, if you happen to know one, if you happen to go to one of those other congregations, now is the time to invest your Christianity in the Lutheran Boys and Girls Club of America / Young Men's Christian and Women's Athletics, Education, Pre-College. They got a lot more going on. It's a pretty cool system when it's Christian. And that's why we're there. We're there to be Christ light, Christ salt. And that's my joy as a parent now, as a pastor in the area with a whole bunch of history, and seeing it dovetail into the Hebron Collegium. I mean, can you see the value in having a 19-year-old kid get to kind of like be around the athletic program as like the sub-apprentice to the coaching staff, sub-apprentice to a teacher? I can see a mom saying, but wait, what? And I can see everyone else saying, this is the point. You got to keep them close. You got to teach them. You got to show them the way to go. And so it's not his whole life. What Jack's going to get to see, he's going to get to walk onto a Lutheran school campus and get a little vicarage moment before he decides this is actually what he wants to do. I've had more than one young man between 18 and 20 of my own congregation desire to be a pastor. And one of the best things I did was expose them to almost everything right away. Say, here, come help me. This is what it's like. Go here, do this, find this, see that. And they're all like, yeah, I think I want a real job. So, I mean, again, see the value, though, in having our pastors know what a systems school looks like through a little, coaching with the coaches, following the chaplain around, and the football. It's about boys football, everyone. This is where it starts. So the joy in this, the value in this, the long game in this. Can you see a child? It's kind of nuts, right? But a Missouri Synod, cradle to college football team. I mean, can you see it? Can anybody else besides me see it? And they know jiu-jitsu. How's that, guys? Talk about dreams. Talk about prayers. It's all just, again, this year, this fall, here's what happens. Me and Everyday Jack get to say, those who trust in Jesus Christ are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever, to as many people as we can, wherever we can. And as we get to do that, as we get to remember the Psalms and Proverbs we read that day, as that becomes not just us, but the whole pack of men that are coming with me from St. Paul Lutheran Church into this football program, right? I kid you not. It's beautiful. It's a gift from Jesus. The times have aligned for us. We're all going in there not to make football players, but to make Christians, just as the big brothers that God has given those of us who are making this decision right now to be. And to see the Hebron Collegium is part of that. That's what that's been from the start. It's the Big Brothers Club for that gap year where the guys really need it. I'm finding, as I talk to all of you, it doesn't mean you need a year, But most of you need a weekend, if not a 3-week, probably a quarter. Yeah, a year wouldn't hurt. To what? To not be told what to do. But Fisk, aren't you starting a cult? Well, yeah, you got me there. Sorry. But if you're willing to join my cult, I don't tell you what to do. It's a bit disappointing. In fact, if you want me to be your cult leader, I'm incredibly disappointing. But what I do provide is structure where you can explore without being told what to do. Right. And that structures the Bible, lots and lots of Bible, 12 chapters a day plus the Sons of Solomon prayer discipline. Right. And then from there, I don't know, we're going to talk about it. What do you need? What are you after? You going to go pre-sem? You're 18? Okay, well, here's your stack of books. But that's not everyone's path. That's not everyone's path. So the Hebron Collegium is old, not new. It's the old way. It's not building a university because we can. It's understanding that universities exist because once upon a time, men of goodwill and knowledge gathered for the sake of that. And we got a house in Rockford for young men and old alike. That is to say, gates are open. It's a purchasing firestorm around here. You can't keep the house on the market, although every once in a while people are asking you to pay too much. It's not the best time to buy. Not the worst time either. I mean, what happens if the Federal Reserve and the IRS go away in the next 2 years? Are you following this? This isn't me making stuff up to have fun on a show. It really is Starfall 2029. I haven't stopped because it's real. It just is real. There's a comet coming and everybody's nuts. And no one remembers what happened last week. And no one's paying attention to what's happening right now. Do you know how many vaccines are being said should be taken off the market by half of the government right now? While they plan another one funded by Bill Gates? Wait, what? Yes. Dear Jesus, thank you for supporting me in the Hebron Collegium. Because that's what matters. These stories get crazy so fast. They get scary so fast. And it's so real. I hope you're praying for President Trump. I hope you're praying for that office that he put some Christians in to protect Christians. And even though I'm not sure that they are what I'd call Orthodox, right? I hope you're praying for them anyway, that they might become Orthodox at least. That their prayers would be Orthodox enough to be heard by God as they seek to have this not become a communist nation, that is, a nation that is pagan, that is, that God would give its heritage to be trampled by those who care not, that all of these beautiful sanctuaries with stone and art and windows that have been built by the sons of Adam who've repented and believed in their King, the Christ, and his resurrection, that they would not become mosques and bars and other types of tomfool places, like indeed they already are in the deep Near East, that is the Northeast, I should say, just like England, the new one. It is a problem. Are you watching? Are you watching? I can't believe what I preached this morning about Islam. I really can't. But what else is a man to do when it's a fact and the women are dumb enough to not know what they're advocating for? Did anybody listen? I mean, it's really something to me. Ladies, do you know what you're advocating for when you advocate for submission, which means any kind of agreement with Islam? I understand that President Trump's making deals with the dollar. Dollar, dollar, holla, holla. I know where my mammon is buttered. I'm saying, ladies, do you even know? Because I think most don't. They'd rather pretend it's not true. If it happens to be a particularly feminine instinctual sin like old Eve, I talked about that today too, I guess you'll just have to hate me for believing there's an old Eve to match the old Adam. And she's not old Adam quite, she's old Eve, and there is a difference, and we all got to deal with each of us under that cross. And I plan to go to my grave confessing who my king is and not afraid of dalla dalla holla holla and all that game that's going on. One of the best things I've seen recently, again, around here is good Christian men saying out loud to me, I don't care about the money. I'm going for the truth. Oh my, hallelujah. Can I sing higher? Can I sing more? Who will sing with me? Will the stones cry out? Thank you for helping my family continue to just rock it out here. I talked about it quite a bit last week. I don't want to bore you, but man, are they amazing people. They continue to be blessed under the gifts that God gives them. Their fruit is prospering. But that is indeed on this little oasis that my salary and your giving when you subscribe at redfist.com, well, giving, sharing, repaying, paying for, whatever. That all helps so much. PayPal. Not PayPal. You can reach out to me and you can share with PayPal. That's a whole nother beast, though. I meant to say Patreon and Subscribestar, both under RevFist. Those of you who continue to support me there, you can always go and subscribe there as well. Thank you so much. These are crazy times. I would love to be in a situation where I don't ask this question, right? I don't say this. I don't even let you give it to me. I don't want you to give it to me in one sense. But I also know what it does. And I know that if I'm going to keep walking around acting like money doesn't exist, I better have some coming in from somewhere, And, pray for my daily bread, work hard with the toil and labor of the day. And thank you, those of you who are the ones that make that happen here, right? So back to Hebron again. And we had our first lab day this week. So lab days Thursday afternoons. It's an experiment in progress, and what's football going to do to it? We got a bunch of people involved in a bunch of things, but lab days robotics and electronics, and got a really strong lesson in I can't believe I lost the word, but it does happen late on a Sunday evening, I imagine. I want to say ionic or bionic, but that's not what it is. It's the ones and zeros that are a code that you can talk in as a computer. Binary, there it is. See how that happened? All the way through the back door. Binary, got a nice lesson in binary and how you can count on one hand much higher than 5 if you know how binary works. And then that's how computer circuit systems work, and Redstone sort of. And wow, that was neat, I gotta say. I think it went over one head entirely by 2 points, one head almost by half, my head by only an inch, and then my son blew it out of the water. And all of this, again, just a good first day, I think. No complaints at all as we continue to figure out what does it mean to be men of the 21st century. And my agenda here would be, again, with lab day, by the time you've messed with a little bit of computer electronics, you can probably fix your vacuum cleaner when it breaks down. But at the same time, what does the future hold? How many of you did grow up with Transformers, Pokemon, and Knight Rider? Voltron, anyone? What is coming with the robots that they build, which will need people to inspire them? That's a fact. That is program, whatever you want to say. Do you want to only let the godless barbarians build them? Well, I guess you can if you like. But I consider the idea that a PeaceBot's a great, great gift from God to man. What's a PeaceBot? Well, if you can imagine a language model that's small enough that it doesn't have room for insanity, because it's basically just biblical, that's also trained to be kind and brush your teeth for you, right? Not exactly, but teach you to brush your teeth. I don't know. I know what's coming are bots that chew on you, shoot you, spray stuff at you, take pictures of you, all this kind of stuff. It's already here. Do you know Mark Zuckerberg puts tape over the camera on his laptop and has done so for a very long time because he knows what he's doing? So my point, again, I didn't really pitch it as well as I'd like this late evening, sci-fi as we are. But the dream here is that C-3PO, R2-D2, they are what you program them to be. And if you can build and fix, then you can build and fix. And what's coming next is an age of robotic potentials. There's a lot of things missing still as far as I see it. Energy source, clean and sustainable long-term and able to move. That's a challenge yet to come. But so many other challenges are being overcome. From my own personal standpoint, I'm just sitting in a corner spitballing from my own family, my own heart, my own life, right? I'm not trying to tell you have to believe everything I think. But for my own potential, tree is green here. I don't think we're at the end of the world. I think it could come. Maranatha, please, Jesus, end it. Let's rise up, But I think the tree is green and he likes fruit. And fruit means more voices praising his name. And I see a whole lot of potential for a generation or even a nation right now to repent. I'm not kidding. A nation. And so why would he destroy it when Josiah's Passover was greater than any that had come before? So what is possible if we enter an era of clean energy in Christian robotics? Do you have to hate it before you dream about it? Do you have to say it's not possible before you even pray? That's what I haven't understood about the naysayers. What else do I call them? The decriers, the deplorables. They'd pray like that. It's good songs like that, right? But like, this is the thing. Like, okay, cool. You don't like robots. But here, the point of Hebron is not so much you have to like robots. The point is you can't ignore what's coming. You cannot like what's coming. You're not allowed to ignore it. You can say, I don't like that. That's fine. It's fine. You don't have to like anything. Who likes what? I don't like a lot of things. But what's coming, you can't ignore it. Man. And the boys that are coming here is the thing. Is you know it. You're coming here because you know you can't ignore it. Someone's got to do something. Someone's got to say something. No one can live in that much ignorance that long. And though you're frustrated with a generation that's trying very hard to do so, you're not going to be a generation that's going to do so. And again, I pray that this is bigger than just me, you, and us in some sort of little Lutheran way. I pray that the freedom of the gospel rings true. Black, brown, and white, baby. That's my dream. I don't care what anybody else says about me. Black, brown, and white, baby. I think it can be done in the kingdom. And I say, again, preach the word in season and out. Those who trust in Jesus Christ are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever. And a proverb a day. Does a little more and keep the devil out of Georgia, right? Oh my. So thank you again. What else can I say? This is not intended to be a long show. It's late. It's Sunday night. It's been a great day. We're normally in our Sunday evening barbecue moment, but there's a storm supposed to be rolling in. I can't quite tell if it's going to pass me to the north at the moment, but so we canceled all that tonight, and I got to catch up on this, which I didn't do on Friday because all of these things that are happening are indeed from the hip. And at this point, it's really rolling forward pretty fast. And so because I'm also writing at revfist.com regularly with great joy to share with you, and I'm also trying to work on a number of other longer works that I'm not doing in part on the site for publishing like I was doing before. I'm keeping those behind and just working on them as a whole, fiction and nonfiction alike. I don't know when any of it's going to come out, but I know I'm loving it. I know it's a flow. And I'm praying for as long a season of this flow with some football, basketball, and Hebron all rolled into one great joyous, come and visit Rockford. Come and swing through the crossroads of St. Paul Lutheran Church and learn to sing with us. It's like few things you've felt. And it's not about the feeling, but why do you hate feelings? Why do you hate the feeling of song, singing? Do you know what that does to your spinal cord when you sing? How your stomach and your brain are like wound into a weave of up and down magic from heaven's own orchestra. It's really something, the biochemistry that actually happens. And when it happens in a group, that's why concerts are cool, right? Okay, now when that happens with the Spirit of the Holy God upon your lips, not because you just like the music, but because you all together care so much about what this says, because it's true. Again, come visit us. Come drive through, y'all. I'd love to have you. Stick around and join me on the mat sometime as well. Get a little lesson in what it means to to get close. I love it. I love it so much in Jesus' name. It's so cool. The gentle art. Anyway, I probably was like very vague, but I was thinking specifically about. So I got the 18-year-old boy, right? He's there, he's doing well. It's his third week. And then I got the guy who's not been there a while, who had a couple of lessons, and he's kind of a cop now. and they're doing their little wrestling thing, and it's happening. And then, so I'm not involved though physically. Like I'm letting, and there's a reason for this. And so, but I have to at one point get involved to show something, and in that moment, the reason was just evident again in the way that the guy laughed when I squeezed him gently, because he was like wanting me to stop. It wasn't a good laugh. It was like, "What are you doing? Stop it! Wait!" And it's so wonderful this this pressure that is humanity, and getting to be on that side of it, where as a man you have an awareness of your own capacity. It's a great thing. So what am I doing right there? I'm trying to sell you some martial arts, right? It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. I heard a good friend of mine is taking some taekwondo. That's nice. It's good. It's all good. I don't want to scoff, but you know, there's Marines and there's the Air Force, right? Everyone knows this, or don't you? Don't you know? But the point of dance, the point of moving your body is to understand how to move your body. If you're still, then you're stagnant, truly. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a circulatory pump. You have to walk to feel better. It's literally true in science. This isn't even about feelings, except it is. Your stomach and your brain are tied together. Federal government, Kennedy said that this week too. It's true. It's been true for a very long time. The ancients knew it. Why don't we? Well, that's a good question. Good question. We're looking for the wrong stuff. What are you looking for? Follow Jesus. I know I am trying to help a target audience on the internet at this time. I know it. I started trying to help you when I heard that nobody was helping you, and I knew I was one of you. And that was around 2020, and I don't know which resource it was, but it was certainly during my red pilling, which was pretty quick, right? I said it in the sermon today again. When the guy said, nobody buy masks, this won't help everybody, nobody buy masks, I am the science. And then 2 weeks later, he said, masks or you die, you fools, conspiracy theorists. And it went from there. I just became a conspiracy theorist at that point. I didn't know how to be that ignorant of what I was watching. So I red pilled pretty quick. But in that, I started digging for resources. I've told some of this story before. My first resource was Ecclesiastes. Would that it had been the red letters, but the Lord needed me to be disciplined by Solomon first. And then the red letters began to make sense to me in ways I'd never seen before. Not that everything everybody says at seminary isn't right, but it's just we just don't even give the guy credit, really. I don't think we do. Otherwise, we'd read the red letters more and talk about it. And not say it's a bad idea, as I've heard more than one Lutheran say. The target, again, when I dug into Solomon, and then from there refracted into a careful listening, can I diagnose the harmonic dissonance of our times? Very clearly and early on was the young men are not being prepared in any way. That's good. That's bad, right? Like they're not being prepared for the good. They're not being prepared against the bad. Both those things. They're fragile. They're sick. Autism is just like it's part of it. You can't ignore it. It's a large percentage of the populace. Recognizing that what we need more than anything else is for those men who are going to be men to not fail right now. And so the target audience is you. Men who are not failing yet, but are taking deep breaths. These times are hard. The battle beneath the smile is hard because semantics are not solids. That is, it's hard to pin it down when she does not fear rightly. But Christ alone is king. That's an absolute fact. And from there, the good news just continues on that what we're experiencing is nothing other than the old man and the old woman doing what they do. And then if you'll hear it, reader, some men got a hold of a talking image and they figured they could put woman on it and subjugate the world to her voice. And look what's going on. Something tells me they know a lot about debt management too, but that's just, a crazy guess from some psycho out here in Rockford. What's a man to do when it makes sense? When you can follow the paper trail? when you really don't care about all the stories, because did we go to the moon and it doesn't matter to me? Sure, why not? The earth goes over the sun goes around the earth. Which one do you see rise in the morning is the more important question. It isn't that science can't be science, it's that without faith, there can't be science. That's what I mean whenever I say the convergence is inevitable. What I mean is that you can't have logic without the Logos. And since the Logos is not a Platonic ideal, but is the solidly incarnate man, Jesus Christ, risen from the dead, your King, bow to him, find him as your brother and Lord. Well, I mean, it just changes the game, don't it? My, oh my. And that it's all rest again. Oh, that's been just a joy too for me. Rest. I remember I had to be 21 by then. Maybe I was 22 even. I could have been 20. I was part of a number of college-age Christian things. What do you call this? Youth groups, but they weren't youth group anymore. College outreaches, but they were all the kids from all the different churches. So no one was really changing churches. We're all just kind of going to this one on this night, and then there's this one on that night. It wasn't all the same kids at all. But anyway, I was in a number of these places. And I don't know how it even happened, but I expressed my anxiety. I must have said something about being anxious or fearful, which, deep breath and a smile, right? Deep breath and a smile. And the guy who was the leader of the praise band, which was the best praise band I was ever a part of. I got to play the djembe in it from almost the night I showed up until the time I left, and it was good. We were good. I mean, I'm not into that for church, okay? But I'm kind of missing the band jive and wondering where it belongs in the LCMS and why we don't sing songs about God on Friday night. But that's sad. This guy was in his 40s or 50s, and he was, under the female pastor, I think, who led the whole thing, because I think it was a PCUSA church, but what did I know? I was just happy to love Jesus and go play rock and roll. And actually, most of the speakers were pretty good. They talked about being righteous, right? But there was plenty about Christ. And so I know that, again, my faith was fed, and I came away wanting to humble myself in the sight of the Lord and believe that he would lift me up. So anyway, I somehow vulnerabilized, right? And out came anxious. And then this guy who, he was kind of, I don't know what to say. He was an ex-hippie, maybe is the best way to say it. He got real excited. And he got very insistent that he teach me about the Bible for 3 or 4 minutes, which is, he'd never done this, and nobody did it. It was weird. It stood out to me, right? He was so excited because he was like, "Okay, I know how to solve your anxiety." I'm like, "Well, I'll listen. Okay, sure, yeah, solve it." And his story came down to, I needed to read Hebrews 4, like over and over and over again, one afternoon or something like that. And I really mean it, or something like that. And then it would all make sense because the rest would make sense. And I did what he said. I spent a lot of time in Hebrews 4, and golly, the grammar ain't easy. Let me tell you, in English, it is not smooth. It is not a smooth read, right? It's like, and enter that rest. And you're like, I'm trying, but that seems counterproductive. Right? So in any case, recently now, that theology, that exegesis, right? The text of Scripture on the covenant rest in the promises of God. That's just been in my reading and in what's happened to be in the songs I listen to or whatever. It's come around again and again. It came out in the sermon this morning because Jesus says, "Let us go and rest." And so it congealed today in that sermon. But it's been behind my pace for a good couple of weeks now. And I mean that as theology, right? As knowing God. Knowing God has told me before all things to enter that rest that the world can neither know nor enter that my body will enter, but that I am already in. And it really is. Let go now, for it is beautiful. Right? First red letters in Matthew, translated by me. It is, be still and know that God is God and you're what he made you to be. And you got plenty to do that's for you. So don't try so hard to do what everyone else is supposed to be doing. I mean, you can help. You can clean up after somebody else. But, the more you do, the more you will. Right? So, again, the better part of wisdom is patience and reading the Bible. This one really got me again. So I was pondering about this comment from like 2 or 3 weeks ago on how Solomon really doesn't need to be read or promoted because Molech or something. And it's just so third grade. I wish when I say it's as clear as purple crayon, everyone knew the referent. No one knows that referent. That referent's so eccentrically weird, but it does have everything to do with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, being a terrible movie. And so it's pretty funny to anyone who doesn't like Anakin whining too much. But that was a distraction, wasn't it? Now, can I get back from that one? That was a long way. We were in exegesis. It was good. We were dealing with the Bible and the text. I remember that part. Welcome to my Sunday night, everybody. I love you too. My decaf coffee is working well. I did get to mention Star Wars, so that was fun. And I'm not sure I can get back to where I was. Maybe I'll come back if I shift directions. I am again, so busy that this is where we got to this week, and I want to make sure I fit into my week a regular. I really want to talk about the Bible. I'm mad that I can't remember it. That I want to fit into my week more intentionality, right? Doing this in the morning when my brain is fresh. Having a little bit more of a plan than just from the hip entirely. Although it's kind of cool to be that cool, right? From the hip. I'm like a Western guy. I want to make it so that you're praying for this as something that's going to hit you soon enough. Like, hopefully most of you have taken Sons of Solomon and Daughters of Wisdom seriously. Like, if you're still listening, you're actually listening to me. You're not just reading my stuff. There's more readers now than listeners, by far. So if you're still listening to me, you're not praying Psalm 125 with me. And I don't do it every day because I fail, and I'm actually in a year of trying to fail so I can know what it feels like before I give another year of I'm going to do it with all my heart again. And that's me. I'm 5 years in or whatever, right? But like, join us. It doesn't hurt. Oh, that was it. Back to Solomon. The comment. Solomon because Molech, purple crayon. Hallelujah. So the comment was, Solomon's okay, but that's just wisdom, not righteousness. And it kind of bothered me enough as a purely stupid thing to say, not understanding that righteousness is like the 7th or 10th word in the book, and he talks about all the way through the book, even though he doesn't claim it for himself. Because, justification and stuff. He understood. But it was more. It was the more stupid from later that's getting me still. Okay, so that was stupid level 1. Here's stupid level 15, right? So, well, that's just wisdom, not righteous. That's just wisdom. What? You got righteousness. Good. You don't want wisdom? What are you? That's just wisdom. That's just wisdom. What are you talking about? How stupid can you be? That's just wisdom. What do you think wisdom is? What do you think it's for? Oh my good, just wisdom? You found some? Keep it. Keep it. Buy it. Do not sell it. Right? I can't get over it. This is a Lutheran mindset. This is the thing, is you've got justification set against wisdom. What has gone wrong with our spirit? How bitter do you have to be to think that wisdom isn't like finding honey? Purple crayon. It's good stuff. I can't say that line, R2. I can't. There's actually a line. It's from R2. I'm not going to say it now. Oh, my. This is what raising your kids on TV does to you. I did see a really great little comment this week on children age 0 to 3. So important. So true. The impressionability. The sponge-like nature of their eyeballs and their skin and their need to have other eyeballs look at their eyeballs and other skin touch their skin, and how daycare can't provide that. It's just something to pray with me about, would you? We're not going to fix it. There's always going to be orphans. Do we have to orphan our own? Do we have to call that virtue? You follow me? I think you do. Dear Jesus, you men, that's who I'm talking to, really. You young men. You're strong. You've overcome the evil one. You read that book lately? It's a good one. It's a good one. Pick it up again. Better than most people think. It doesn't get enough credit. None of them do. I want to keep talking because I want to give you more, but we've done a good amount here for the time in the week and all this kind of stuff. I love sharing these stories. I want to get my neighbor, my young man, my apprentice, into an interview here. But again, locals got to take precedent. I did want to talk about this week. So, I want you to see, please, did you listen to Brief History of Power? I want you to see how what I'm advocating doing here publicly is in part to further that message, which is, as Dr. Koontz pointed out, Lutheran education needs to be rethought. Lutheran identity needs to be embraced. And this doesn't mean shouting the word Lutheran. It means wisening up to being the intellectual prowess we once were, not just the hot air. And then that means doing it, not just talking about it. So what if you can tell everybody why they're wrong theoretically? Good for you. Right? You borrowed Google for an afternoon. The question is, what can you actually build with these words that you believe are better? Are you using good goads? Are you scattering the good seed? And yeah, there's out of season time, so keep scattering. And yeah, there's path, and there's rocks, and there's weeds, so keep scattering. The fruit comes, though. And it comes not in power and control in ways that you would want it to be, but instead in the power of mercy and love that are far better than what you could imagine and turn out to be not so bad. You start to want that too. Love. How did you love? How did you love? How did you love? No. Once you're free, right? I mean, it's not. Why are we talking about justification again, all you critics? Now that you're free, aren't you free? Aren't you free? As I am.